Did you see the most recent SNL with Bill Burr doing an intro?
Yeah.
I didn't get to hear the monologue. I heard it was pretty intense.
Everybody's pissed off about it, but it's like, I think that I think people don't realize that if you don't get the joke, you probably are the joke.
Yeah.
And that's like what's happening is that like Twitter's mad about it, but Twitter is basically always the fucking joke. Like anyone who's bitching about something on Twitter, you're probably the reason whoever said what they said it.
You're getting trolled.
Yeah. Or you're just the butt of a joke because you're a fucking stick in the mud and you don't understand comedy and you take everything literally and you don't understand that people say things that are meant to push boundaries and make people feel weird because that's what fucking comedy is. Comedy is when you put regular people in uncomfortable situations, you fucking dorks.
The ideas and opinions expressed in the Black Shirt podcast are not necessarily the ideas and opinions of our sponsors.
Boom.
Hey, we're back.
I'm also here.
Yes.
But I've never left.
It's the Black Shirt podcast with Clint Baker.
And Dirk Guaget.
Yes.
It's French. I don't ever tell anybody that. But
yeah. First,
Dirk Guaget.
Well, we're gonna have a crazy show today. We got to talk about Fat Man.
Not me.
Little Weird Al.
Controversy.
All the stuff.
Some cool Mel Gibson Weird Al beef. If 2020 wasn't weird enough for you, we needed that. Well, we got it, baby. Don't you worry.
That's right. First off, we need to share. So, guys, like, share, subscribe, do all the stuff.
Come on, man. I see you guys sharing dumb shit all day, all long. Give me a fucking break.
Come on, guys. You know the thing.
My mic sounds really good today.
Yeah, you do sound good.
Real crisp.
Yeah.
I think it's the perfect distance.
Yes.
Also French.
So do that if you're watching right now.
Instagram, the Black Shirt Podcast.
Yes.
Facebook. That's one people really like us there. Check us out on the FB. I don't have one because I don't like Mark Zuckerberg looking at my fucking penis. But,
Zucks. Yeah.
But I recently taped over my laptop camera because I found out that he does that. If you find out that the guy that made the spy software puts tape over his camera,
that's scary.
You should put tape over your fucking camera.
Yeah, that's weird.
5 sure.
I've been meaning to get one of those little things that sticks on there, has a little sliding. Have you seen that?
Oh, that's a genius move.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's good.
It's like a piece of plastic with a little sliding thing, and it's
window.
like I think they're like $20 or 10.
Yeah,
or $10
and it's like a 4-cent piece of plastic.
It's like a 1-cent piece of plastic.
Wow, what a genius move! Somebody's a fucking genius.
Well, guess what? Guess what Dirk and I did today?
That's right. We voted.
Get your ass out there. Early
Go
voting.
Vote.
It was easy, man. There was nothing to it. Yeah,
I hate it.
It took me, I think, realistically, 20 minutes to get in and out of there.
I got in and out in 20 minutes, and like every single person that I know, to be fair, I know a lot of people who are slacktivists, I guess would be a good name for it, where it's like, yeah, when push comes to shove, they don't actually get up and do anything.
Yeah.
And so the lines are long, and oh man, but it's like, shut the fuck up, get out there and get it done.
Here's the deal: the lines are long, they're scary, but the reason is because we're all social distancing.
Yeah, the line looks 4 times as long as it actually is because everybody's 6 feet apart.
Yes. So we've been going to the grocery store and standing in line at the grocery store for 6 months. We know how to do it. We've all got masks on. We're doing the thing. So
mine was at a Holiday Inn.
Yeah,
that was very sketch.
Mine was at a Randall's grocery store.
That's less sketchy than a fucking Holiday Inn by the bus station. It was by the Greyhound, so it was like extra sketch. You're like, But they were like, yeah, it's official. This is voting place. So get out there and do your damn, your damn bit.
So get out there and do it. Like, come on. It doesn't. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. Go out there, place your vote.
I care. Get out there and do the right thing, you fucking morons.
Yes.
So what do we got today?
What do we got? Back to the regs.
To the good stuff that people don't care about.
Well, first off, the most important thing that I probably heard today was the idea of Scarlett Johansson.
Ooh, I saw this. I sent you this. Ooh,
yes.
She's talking about, supposedly they're doing another Addams Family reboot that isn't animated.
Yeah. And she's in Morticia.
It's not bad. Who was that other chick though that you were saying?
I was saying Sophie Turner.
Now this is my pick.
Sophie Turner.
That's the girl from Game of Thrones?
Yes.
God, yeah.
She's also the Phoenix.
See, that one just makes you stop and go like, "Oh shit, that's Morticia."
You know,
that's not. If you showed me that Scarlett Johansson picture, there's a number of characters that I could think she was if I didn't know the context.
Like Rogue.
Yeah.
Well, when you said Scarlett Johansson for Morticia, I was like, I don't even know if that's a good idea or not. I just love goth chicks
She just-
and
yeah.
and Scarlett Johansson at the same time, and that's
This
like
is just
that's
a really
just great.
she's just
It's
hot
great.
and
Yep.
like that's cool. But like if you were doing a Pepsi challenge and you said I need Morticia,
But
Game
like
of, Game of
that's
Thrones,
pretty damn
she's got it.
legit.
That's way better.
And what's funny is her demeanor has always been kind of whiny, like not whiny.
need, like-
Whiny's a rude way of putting it, but she's a little more like
Little Lord Fauntleroy,
like slow talking and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. But
gracious.
but for and I don't know about for the Phoenix. I don't even know how she worked for that. You know, I don't know even. I was kind of indifferent with that movie, but for Morticia, I actually think that's perfect casting.
Yeah, she's got that. She has the vibe where she can be like aloof,
And just a little bit sophisticated,
little
you know.
and very like kind of above it. You know what I mean? I feel like that's
Yeah.
another thing that Morticia has is she's very like she kind of transcends whatever you're talking about. She's not worried about it. She's on some other shit. She's trying to like make spiders come out of her mouth or something. And so I slipped that one past you. So I would tell whoever's making that movie reconsider.
Yes.
Maybe let's do a few more callbacks, huh? All right, because Homegirl's on the line, and that's Morticia.
Yeah.
Bro. That's inarguable.
Yeah.
And that like I said, Scarlett Johansson could be playing any number of characters in that picture.
Yep.
All of which would be acceptable. I would be like,
And
oh, shit,
fantastic. She's a
okay, yeah.
fantastic actress.
Oh shit, okay. But
But Sophie,
when you say it's Morticia, you're like, I
But-
want that. That's what I want.
yeah. But you know what? I'm gonna love that.
She's like Dr. B. This is like Dr. B, Morticia, and then like
talking about from HEB soda.
yes, and then Dr. Pepper
That's
is
like Dr. Pepper Shasta for
Right.
those.
yeah.
Or Fago.
Yeah, sure. She's like the
If you're a
diet.
juggalo.
She's like diet Morticia, and then there's your 475 calories a bottle Morticia. That's what you want.
Well,
Let's be real. That's what you fucking want.
my understanding is that that Scarlett Johansson's already cast.
Yeah, I'm just saying, reconsider. Think
so-
about it, guys. It's not too late.
There
We've been-
was some other news that
we-
I actually didn't put into this, but that Cleopatra, Gal Gadot
Oh.
is going to be Cleopatra.
wow, that'd probably be
And I
great.
think it's the same. I think it's the same Patricia.
I'd be interested to.
The same director as Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh.
I think.
I would be interested to see who they want Gomez to be for the Scarlett Johansson,
Oh.
because it's gotta like Gomez is a tough sell. He's very specific and very particular as far as like my pick was Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp would be fantastic.
Yeah, because
You
he
kn-
kind of already did that in Dark Shadows. Like it's almost the same role, really. The like kind of vampire-y kind of.
You know who could do it really well?
Who's that?
The guy who plays what's his name? Cassian Andor? Is that his Cassian?
Oh no! I know who you're talking about. The guy from the terminal.
The guy from Rogue One.
Yeah, the guy from the terminal that drives the food truck
Cassian
with the
Andor, is that the
with the
character?
mustache.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
you're right. He could.
He
but
would
he's
be fantastic.
but
And
he's-
Pedro Pascal, but except
but his
Pedro,
build's not right. That's the thing.
What about Pedro Pascal?
Still a little on the light side
He
because
would-
like
he would-
Gomez is a man. He's like a man's man.
Man.
He's like a stocky guy. He's like a Wolverine almost. You know
You
what?
could-
He's like 5'4", but he's buff and kind of fat, but not like
You could pull
50s strong fat. You know what I'm talking about? Where they like put their chest out and they're fat guys, but they look strong. I feel like that's Gomez. You know what I mean? And he just doesn't have the weight to throw around because I feel like they're kind of an odd couple. Like Morticia's tall and thin, Gomez is short and stocky.
I bet
and-
if you give him a thin mustache, you could get Adam Sandler to do it.
Now you're fucking talking.
Now I'm speaking
You're
your
speaking
language.
I bet Sandman could do it if he wanted to. I wouldn't put it past him because he's funny, a little slapsticky.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing people forget. Adam's Family was a comedy.
Yeah, he's
it was
hilarious.
it was a joke. It wasn't a serious show. We weren't trying to impress anybody. They were having fun. It was very slapstick, very kind of Munstersy, very like I don't know, like Sandman might not be a bad bet. He would have to do some. I have like another guy in mind, but I can't put my fucking finger on it. Like there's like one more guy that I'm like,
I have a feeling he'd do he'd do the voice that he always does or something, and we'll be
Have
like,
you
no,
seen the
that's
new-
not Gomez.
Have you seen his new movie, Hubie Halloween,
Uh-uh.
on Netflix?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's actually pretty funny. It is, I would almost say, like an homage to every Happy Madison movie that he's ever done. Like a love letter to those movies under the guise of Halloween, because it has so many good cameos. The first scene, I won't spoil it, blew me away. I was like,
Cool.
no, you can't be fucking serious. And it was like the first 4 minutes of the movie, you're just like, and then that sets the tone for the rest of the movie, where you're just like, wow, he's really just getting everybody on in this motherfucker, isn't he? Everybody that's not dead that has ever been in a Happy Madison movie is pretty much in that film.
Awesome.
Everybody, there's like, I wish that Chris Farley's ghost was in it, because that's the only thing that would have made it like perfect.
You know, he had Happy Gilmore's caddy. That guy's probably in it. Right?
Yeah. All those dudes. Actually, no, that guy didn't make the cut.
The grandma's boy guy?
The guy,
Didn't
the dude that's this dude all the time.
The one who's the homeless looking dude who washing his underwear in the ball washer?
That guy, yeah. So him and and the other guy, the two metalhead dudes from Little Nicky.
Yeah.
Those guys are in like every movie he ever does. Somehow they didn't make the cut for this one, now that I think about it.
That's weird.
All the big names did. Tim Meadows is there. Even Maya Rudolph. Lots of SNL. Rob Schneider, Steve Buscemi.
Did you see the most recent SNL with Bill Burr doing an intro?
Yeah.
I didn't get to hear the monologue. I heard it was pretty intense.
Everybody's pissed off about it, but it's like, I think that I think people don't realize that if you don't get the joke, you probably are the joke.
Yeah.
And that's like what's happening is that like Twitter's mad about it, but Twitter is basically always the fucking joke. Like,
Yeah.
anyone who's bitching about something on Twitter, you're probably the reason whoever said what they said it.
You're getting trolled.
Yeah. Or you're just the butt of a joke because you're a fucking stick in the mud and you don't understand comedy and you take everything literally and you don't understand that people say things that are meant to push boundaries and make people feel weird, because that's what fucking comedy is. Comedy is when you put regular people in uncomfortable situations, you fucking dorks.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, Bill Burr, I back him totally, dude. He's like, his
yeah, what's not to like?
It's just who he is.
Yeah, and
his,
he deserves.
And his
he's
podcast
not
is amazing. He's not an asshole.
He's never hurt anyone.
No,
I don't give a fuck what anybody says. If I can say whatever the fuck I want, I live in America. And if I didn't hurt you. My opinion or my comment does not change anything in your life.
But I'm feeling
it doesn't
triggered.
make you too fucking bad.
I'm feeling triggered. Dirk.
That's like the fucking triggering ought to trigger people.
I don't like that.
Because that's a real thing for some people. People who have like PTSD or like have been raped. Those people have triggers. They have real triggers. Somebody saying gay in 2003 shouldn't trigger you. I'm sorry. That's like dumb.
Yeah.
And somebody saying like, oh,
is that what he? That's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't go back.
Yeah,
in
you
time.
can't reverse engineer
Time.
outrage.
Yeah.
You can't carbon date outrage to the past and be mad at John Wayne for saying dumb shit about racism in the 70s. He makes the great point. John Wayne was born in 1901. What the fuck do you think they were doing in 1901? They were doing racist shit because the country was different, bro. Look at it like a fucking step forward. Look how different we are now.
Yeah,
we are very different now.
I'd say that too.
It's progress.
I was watching the Lovecraft Country.
I don't have a Twitter read because I'm a real American and I don't fucking believe in it. Twitter is the death of free speech. It is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
I was watching Lovecraft Country.
Love it.
And it was awesome, but it really made me appreciate the
how
seeing
fucking
the Jim Crow era and all that. How
different it is now.
How far we have come.
Like, and anybody that can actually like contextualize it and see that that's the truth, they know that this is the greatest country in the fucking world in 100 million different ways. Because in a one person's lifetime, we've gone from people not being able to sit on a fucking bus to being the president of the United States. And like that discrimination, it may still exist in some form and in some people's minds and in some people's hearts, and fuck those dudes. But the reality is it is not commonplace. It is not accepted by society. That's the difference between Jim Crow and now, is that it was commonplace and accepted and enforced by the law. Whereas now we live in a society where when somebody says some racist shit, we're like, dude, fuck you. What the fuck are you thinking? Like, get out of here.
And the good news is, as time unfolds, that stuff's going to be bred out.
But that sword has to cut both ways. You have to call things the way that they are, because when somebody's being racist, you do have to jump on them and be like, yo, dude, that's
Absolutely.
fucking wrong. You can't say that. But when somebody isn't and you accuse them of it, then you are diminishing actual racism. It's like when people say, oh, George Bush is Hitler. You know you're offending millions of people who died in the Holocaust when you equate somebody who did nothing even close to the atrocities perpetrated in the Holocaust to some minor issue that irked you on the internet in 2020.
Yeah, totally.
That is not the fucking same.
It's not the
You
same.
diminish the horrors and the atrocities that this person actually committed. I'm gonna get off my soapbox in a minute, guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry. But you diminish the atrocities. You kind of humanize this fucking monster when you attribute normal things that normal people do to this guy. It's not equivalent. It doesn't fucking track. And I would say that's the lesson we have to learn here in 2020. And I think that's what Bill Burr was kind of saying, was like, guys, like, it ain't like that. None of us are like that. And he's even one of those guys that's like, I'm very often, people think I'm like that, and I'm not. I'm not. Fuck those guys. You know what I mean?
He plays an exaggerated persona of the people he grew up with, I feel like.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And like having commentary on those people still existed.
Yeah.
He's not glorifying them in any way. He's just commentating on the fact that they existed and that was the experience that they had, and that was his experience with them, and people are a product of their different experiences, and that's just fucking life, and everybody needs to get off their fucking high horse.
Yeah, everybody chill the
Where's
fuck
the
out.
low horse?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. I'm fucking low horse man. I don't have a high horse. I got the lowest horse in the goddamn county. The lowest horse this side of the Mason-Dixon. What's next?
Yeah, so
Before I start.
make sure you go vote.
That's right.
And be a part of the solution.
Yeah. Do your
And-
fucking bit, you cowards.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I heard.
I got ignorant on it.
Yeah.
I don't care. Fuck them.
I mean, well, somebody had to. Well, I mean, I know a lot of people have been speaking out for Bill Burr. You know what
Yeah.
I mean, but
I'll defend him
I'm
to my
glad we're-
dying breath.
Yeah, Bill Burr's badass.
He
so-
absolutely has never done any. He hasn't done anything. He's made some comments and said some things that make you think. He's provocative, but he isn't offensive. He's never done anything to anyone, and I think he's also been a pretty strong proponent of every like community that he's ever maybe quasi offended.
And if you've ever seen the video of him talking smack for, I think it's 17 minutes about I think it's Philadelphia. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody heckled him, and
He
something
goes
happened,
off.
and he's on stage, and he goes off for like 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, for the rest of the set, we're just gonna talk, and he just went off like.
He's brilliant.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And
but
I love him. That's two things I love about him, and I'll end on this. He's a no nonsense guy,
Mhm.
but he's also even handed. He will make fun of the cracker ass cracker just as fast as he'll make fun of whoever else you're talking about. He doesn't advocate for anyone. He tears everyone down equally. And I think that that's beautiful.
yeah, equal opportunity.
Yeah, he's an equal opportunity hitman. Like he will absolutely assassinate whatever the fuck you are without discretion, and he doesn't give a shit. And he'll talk about old people's pussies, and he'll talk about whatever he wants. He will attack it. And it's brilliant. I think it's great. He's a vision in comedy. Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna scoot this down real quick because I don't want to go out.
Yeah, you don't want to go straight to that.
Yeah. Also, I want to keep the shoot.
You can keep the shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this isn't the first time he's gotten some heat either, to be honest. And
No,
also,
he
if I
always
was him, I would just be like, hey, you know what? You know what NBC is? It is the most liberal fucking media group in the history of time. So if I'm hosting the most liberal show on the most liberal network that ever existed, and they let me say whatever I want to, I'm not really offensive because they wouldn't let me on the fucking show. They don't let anybody that doesn't support their narrative host SNL. I'm sorry. It just is a fact. You gotta be on board with it. When's the last time you saw a Republican host Saturday Night Live?
Yeah. Well,
It just doesn't happen.
If you're SNL, you should know that Bill Burr is gonna say what he's gonna say.
Yeah,
so.
he's not pulling any fucking
Speaking
punches.
of people that say stuff that gets people riled up.
Yeah. Who'd we go to?
Accidentally.
Weird Al.
No,
or
we're
Mel
gonna go
Gibson.
To
Woo!
the fact
That's a hard transition right here.
Yeah, straight to
We're
Mel
really
Gibson.
riding the
Whoa.
really riding the line
Yeah.
today. Okay, well, I'm in.
So Mel Gibson's got a movie coming out called The Fat Man. Comes out in November.
Personally, think it looks fucking great.
Looks awesome.
Poster looks good. It's my first time seeing the poster, and
Yeah.
it looks dope. So for those of you who haven't seen the trailer, it has my recently favorite actor, Walton Goggins. Holler to your boy. Shout out
Goggins up here over
on the right.
Dirk's
Shout
head.
out Justified. He's also in Eastbound. He's not in Eastbound. He's in Vice Principals, and he's in The Righteous Gemstones. Uncle Baby Billy.
Here, we'll put him here in the middle.
Mama told me not to. I did it anyway. Misbehaving. He did that song, and he fucking crushed it. And he also tap dances to it. And I don't know where him and Sam Rockwell must literally like have to like knife fight for every skinny white dude that knows how to dance role that comes out in a movie. But in this film, Santa Claus, played by Mel Gibson. This is not a joke. This is real. Santa Claus, played by Mel Gibson, is a target of a assassin because he gives a kid a lump of coal for Christmas, and the kid is like a rich douchebag kid, and he literally hires Walton Goggins, a professional hitman, to take out Santa Claus for giving him coal. And then Santa, of course, is like it's got kind of a hobo with a shotgun vibe, where Santa's like more on the homeless side of things. He still has like elves and reindeer and a sleigh and shit, but it is definitely like a more Haggerty version. I haven't seen the coat yet. He mentions the coat. He says like I should hang up the coat. I just like the idea of like an old grizzled Santa Claus, but the controversy here,
he doesn't look happy or jolly at all.
No, and the controversy here is strangely, of all the people in the world to have an issue with this film, Weird Al Yankovic has described that it is somehow an amalgamation of two of his previous properties, both of which I'm very familiar with as a huge Weird Al fan. You may have seen me wear my Weird Al shirt on the show. The Night Santa Went Crazy, a hilarious original track from Weird Al, not a cover of anything else, not a parody, one of his banger-ass original tracks about Santa Claus going postal and killing the elves and burning the reindeer. And then Fat Man was a bit. Now this is Weird Al. You know,
It's a cartoon that he made, right?
It was off Weird Al show. So he had like a children's sitcom, like a children's sketch show back in like early '90s. Weird Al show.
Back when you could say fat, you could.
Yeah, back when you could make this fucking joke.
Yeah, you couldn't do that.
And
we should cancel him for what he did in '93.
So he already canceled himself. I think he got ahead of it. He pre-canceled.
Okay.
Because once the Neverland Ranch shit came out,
he
stopped doing any of his Michael Jackson material. So when I saw him, he didn't play like anything good.
Oh, that sucks.
It sucks.
I mean, I get it.
Like his set was good. Yeah. He still played like a couple of crowd pleasers. And to be fair, I saw him with an orchestra. So it was like, there's already like a list of songs you're not going to be able to do with an orchestra. But he said explicitly, like, I'm not doing Fat and I'm not doing Eat It. And so you're just like, those are the songs you won like Grammys. You won like Grammys for those though. Like that's so.
I want to hear Yoda. Come on.
He did do Yoda.
Cool.
He did. It was great and it was awesome. But he usually does like a 30-minute encore of Michael Jackson Star Wars shit, and he didn't. And he did do Dare to Be Stupid too, which was fucking tight.
That's awesome.
But this is a stretch, and like Weird Al, I got your back till the ends of the earth, dog, on anything. And if you call me and say, "Hey, just back me up on this one," I will. But this is a stretch. You're really reaching here.
Yeah, and for
saying
those
who
can't read this tweet that's up on here on the screen because you're listening at home, Weird Al Yankovic tweeted, "Why didn't they just call the new Mel Gibson vehicle Weird Al's intellectual property, the movie?"
I said, a stretch because first of all, I doubt that Mel Gibson's ever listened to a single Weird Al song. If it wasn't one of the like big hits.
Wouldn't it be weird if that's all that Mel Gibson listened to? If Weird Al was Mel Gibson's
what would be weird is if he was right. If Weird Al said this and then Mel Gibson was like, "Dude, I'm busted. You got me. I got to go on an anti-Semitic tirade about it, try to cover it up." But Weird Al, I love you to death. I don't think that they stole this from you. I think it's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
Like I really would back you, I promise. But this also isn't. Santa's not going postal. He's being chased by an assassin. He didn't like lose his mind. He didn't he didn't decide to kill people. A guy comes after him for doing normal Santa shit. So it's a different premise. And I think any media lawyer would tell you don't have a case. I'm sorry, Bubba.
Yeah.
I love you to death. Literally, you're my hero, but you ain't got it here. Just write a parody about how this happened, and then you'll win in the long run. But the movie looks fucking good. Got a real gritty vibe. Got a like I said, hobo with a shotgun, Rutger Hauer kind of vibe. But I don't give a fuck. Walton Goggins, he can do no wrong in my book. Everything he's touched has turned to gold. I even watched The Unicorn on Netflix, which is like a sitcom, and it's about like people in their 40s, like men of a certain age kind of vibe. And it's great. It's really funny, and it's very poignant, and it's also got Robert Corddry, and he's hilarious all the time, forever. Yeah, Walton Goggins can do no wrong. Shout out to Justified, one of the best TV shows I've ever watched.
And Ground Zero wasn't named after Christmas at Ground Zero. That's just a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Don't get...
And maybe Weird Al was just joking. Maybe he was just making a joke. But if he believes that, come on.
You know what I tend to believe?
What's that?
If he's starting to run out of money, it makes you a little bit jaded, and he might get, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but Al's getting lots of play lately. He's getting lots of. Also, really Weird Al kind of punching down at Mel Gibson at this point. I think I would say Weird Al's a bigger star than Mel Gibson now. You know?
Yeah.
Because he's. I mean, we all know what happened. Right?
Mel Gibson canceled himself.
We don't have to talk about. We don't have to say
He canceled himself. He just had enough money to.
Well, okay, so like I watched Get the Gringo on Netflix.
That was really good.
It was good. I fucking liked it, and he was badass in it. You know, I also had a weird like daydream yesterday about remaking Conspiracy Theory. Have you ever seen Conspiracy Theory?
I've never seen that one.
Ooh, do yourself a favor. It's a great Mel Gibson.
Maybe
movie.
I have seen it.
He like lives in like a booby-trapped apartment because he writes like a newsletter, and then like he's like a crazy man.
I think I have seen.
And he writes like a conspiracy newsletter, and then he gets one thing right by accident, and then the government starts coming after him for real. And I think it's who's that girl?
That's Madonna.
No, Miss Congeniality. I know. That's it should be easy.
Jamie, could you pull that up? And
can we get a clip? Dustin? Do we have a clip? Sandra Bullock.
yes.
I think it's Sandra Bullock in the movie. I'm not positive, but I think so. But the movie's fucking dope.
Yeah, that's like a 90s movie, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
It's one of Mel. I mean, hey, like my dad calls. This is probably it's fine. My dad calls Mel Gibson Lem Nosebig. Big. It's just a portmanteau of his name. Mel Gibson Lem Nosebig.
Okay.
He does also have a big nose. But that's what my dad calls Mel Gibson. But Mel Gibson's movies in the 90s, fuck off. Like,
oh yeah,
it's like hit after hit.
Even like Apocalypto. Did you ever see that? That was he wasn't even in it. But...
All of the Lethal Weapons,
yeah.
Braveheart, The Patriot, Conspiracy Theory, Payback.
Payback was
was real fucking good.
It just sucks. Like the that he
like
had to get drunk and say a bunch of dumb shit.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff where you're like, that guy's canceled. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's no arguing around that. Like, if you held Bill Burr and Mel Gibson up to the same, they're not the same.
Yeah,
that's one is an opinion piece and one is blatant racism. Those are different.
I saw an interview where with Mel Gibson. And then they instantly brought back all that.
Oh, straight
stuff.
to it.
Yeah, and he's like, I've said I'm sorry for this long.
Yeah,
like, for year
when's your penance paid?
Yeah, and he pretty much I've done my mea culpas. Like when are we done with
also,
this? Like, I'm here
if
to talk about movie. But...
if I had to like, if I had to do fucking 700 Hail Marys for every time I've gotten drunk and said something stupid.
Yeah,
I mean, I would be still sitting here saying Hail Marys. I wouldn't be doing a podcast.
But you know what? At the same time, he did say a bunch of dumb shit, so people can hold that over his head for the rest of his life.
For sure. But I mean, it's not gonna. I mean, any artist, it's not gonna stop you forever.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, there's just a million cases of stuff like that. Like, I mean, Morrissey saying. I mean, think about Morrissey. Morrissey's still playing shows today, and he said some like
bad.
That's the thing with like. Okay, so like Americans can be racist, right? We have the capacity for racism. But once you start diving deeper and you go over to Europe, you're like, oh, those motherfuckers are real racist. Like, Crusades racist. Like, let's exterminate them racist. Like, that's a European ideal. And that's, like, very Morrissey, very Morrissey thing. He said shit like that where he's like, yeah, let's kill all the fucking Muslims or something. You're like, whoa, dude. You can't say that. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're also supposed to be like some vegan hippie dude. You can't that's not a image move for you. And I mean, he got to play. There's plenty of people that still give him a pass. So I don't know. It's a sliding scale. Personally, Mel Gibson, if that's the only thing he ever did, if he never did anything else, I'll watch his movies. I don't care. Everybody says some dumb shit sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not forgiving it, but at the same time, I'm not invested in it.
You're I like movies.
I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't
know.
I don't give a shit.
It's just weird. Like it's kind of like people listening to Michael Jackson and being like, and they'll be like, yeah,
separate the art from the artist.
Yeah, and I'm like,
it's like, okay, but do we pick and choose when we do that, or do we do it all the time?
Do I feel creepy, or do I just let it go? Does it matter? R. Kelly? Do I want to listen to R. Kelly? Or
that's the thing.
It's weird. It's like
I wasn't at Neverland Ranch. Okay, I never fucking met Michael Jackson, and I have half of the people I've ever known in history have said he's a saint. He never did anything wrong. And half of the people that I've ever heard of have said he's a fucking monster, he's a fucking child molester, whatever. And so it's like, until I have he died before I think he went to court, right? Like he got sued, and they found him not guilty.
Wait, I think he'd hush money to people most of the time.
No, he went to trial. There was a trial. That you don't settle in a trial. I mean, I remember specifically there were the Michael Jackson trials. So it's like if he went to a trial. And
that sounds like some Hunger Games shit.
And was found not guilty. I'm not saying that means that it didn't happen.
Yeah. Have you seen the HBO documentary about Neverland?
I can't bring myself to watch it.
Yeah, me neither.
Working Day and Night's just too good of a jam, man. I love it.
Billie Jean.
But that's the thing is it's like, at what point am I smarter than the entire United States judicial system?
I have a friend.
How do I know more than those guys when it was a literal legitimate fucking court case? And if they found, and then he died, and so then now you're beating a dead horse for no lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Now what? We're dragging some dead guy that can't defend himself. It's like, I'm sorry, dude. You should have got him when he was alive. If he did it, we would have got him, right?
I have a friend who knows one of the guys that was in that documentary, who was one of the victims.
Oh no!
Yeah, she's like, it's some crazy stuff. It's some heavy stuff.
Maybe I'll be eating my words, but then again, at the same time, they got an HBO TV show out of it, so it's like, it's really hard to gauge people's motivations for doing things when I don't know them.
Yeah,
and so it's like, it's the same thing with these when I mean. Not to say that this is ever okay. I gotta be careful here. Sometimes when MC Hammer was getting sued, when he was losing all of his money, there's always going to be somebody that was like, he did this to me. I want some of that money.
Yeah.
When you're famous, that shit does happen. And I'm not saying that that's what happened here. And I'm not saying that there are cases where it's not true and that people don't have legitimate claims. But there's always going to be some illegitimate claim.
Yeah.
And that's always going to cast a shadow of a doubt on the legitimacy of other claims.
Even with politicians too. You got all the sexual
of course
assault,
which
things.
It's like you got both guys on the docket right now have been accused.
Yeah.
Biden got accused by what's her name, and then Kamala Harris comes out and says I think it's true. And now she's his fucking vice president. So how much stock can you put in that from a fucking pleb perspective of a guy on the ground that just watches movies,
Yeah, Trump's got a bunch of allegations. You've got Clinton's had a bunch.
Yeah,
pretty much everybody in the public limelight ends up with that.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying is it kind of you get to a point where there's who the fuck do you believe? You can't actually believe every allegation against
Facebook is who you believe.
You can't believe every allegation against a famous person because we know that. I mean, we've all seen Maury. You know what I mean? You're not the father. It's it's just sometimes that is what it is, and sometimes that's not what it's not. What else we got?
Yeah,
let's go
to some. Speaking, I was gonna say you just let the. I guess you just got to let the courts, and the justice system.
Yeah, but
figure all that out.
Once they decide that, isn't it decided?
I guess so.
Or is it not? Do we dredge it up 5 years later after the dude's dead and make an HBO series about it?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I wouldn't want that for me.
I don't know, but speaking of Young
Oh,
and Justice,
oh,
dude, this is the
That was
2020's
good.
best segue
Damn,
yet. We got
solid.
Young Justice on HBO Max.
Well, not just Young Justice. We also
we
have
got Titans
Titans and Stargirl.
and Stargirl coming
Uh,
soon.
I've watched 2 of the 3 of those. Stargirl, phenomenal.
Stargirl's really good.
Maybe my favorite DC property right now. Titans is also very good, but it's actually a little less polished than Stargirl, which is
weird.
I feel like it was the pilot property. I feel like it was the one that they went for first.
Yeah.
So season 1 of Titans is a little low budget.
It is low budget, but it's really
Still good.
well done.
You're still like
really well
it's like
done.
it's like when you see a really good fan film and you're like, oh damn,
That's exactly like a
wow, you did a really good job for a guy with no money.
Machinima or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
So of those 3, Stargirl is the real star, no pun intended. But all of those are HBO Max exclusives, and they're now coming to the news there is that they're transitioning from their own networks. So like Stargirl was a CW, Titans was a DC Universe property. Yeah. Young Justice is a WB property, I think. It's a Warner Brothers property because it's kids WB cartoon, if I'm not mistaken. And so no, those are all going to be under the umbrella of HBO Max, who has now acquired the rights to all DC television properties. And that leads us to our next point,
which is dope but we're gonna have we're gonna have Batman.
Yeah,
we're gonna have
HBO Max. The app already has all of the Batman movies and a lot of the cartoons and a lot of the DC animated films, which is fucking great. But the big news for that is they recently announced that we're really doing a lot of moving and shaking today. Huh?
Yeah, dude.
The real big news there is that they've announced, yeah, boy, the Green Lantern television series for HBO Max.
That's right.
They've released some details about it, of course, including all of the guys that are going to be in this season of the show. They have not said that this is what the cast is going to be completely comprised of. But we've got Alan Scott, Guy Gardner, Sinestro, and then 2 guys that nobody cares about. And I think the one guy is he's actually really cool, but I can't remember.
You talking about this guy with the?
No, that's Guy. Guy's my fave.
I figured
he's kick ass. But the dude behind him is, I think he's one of the first like Muslim DC characters. He's like Islamic. Not that matters, but I think that was his like claim to fame.
Yeah,
was that he was like, not only is he a Green Lantern, but he's also religious minority and a minority in general, which was like Jon Stewart beat you to the punch like 27 years ago, Bob. But this show, what I think is going to happen, because we've been watching all the details, I've been trying to glean what's going to happen here, because this fucking lineup makes no sense from a logistic perspective. Like,
yeah, you were saying something about Earth 2. I know that it was supposed to be
so none of these guys exist in the same place at the same time. Maybe Guy, not that guy though. Guy old would exist because he's already been a Green Lantern for fucking 20 years when these 2 young bucks in the back come into the picture. Sinestro as a Green Lantern has to be pre-Infinite Crisis, and Alan Scott with his hair, look, you can see he's not old, so he's actually Golden Age Alan Scott. So this is not a green. They
did say he was going to be gay.
Yeah, and Earth 2 Alan Scott, that was a big thing when DC was just starting to like diversify.
Yeah.
Like I said, we got a Muslim dude and a black guy, obviously, but that when they were first really trying to like represent other cultures, they went for the low-hanging fruit and put a gay dude in there. And Alan Scott was their pick, which is strange because he has 2 kids. And I guess, I don't know, you never meet his wife or whoever their mom is, so I guess they just picked some guy at random and they said, this guy's got a big cape. Let's give him, he wears purple and he's got a big cape. Let's make him gay. And so, but he's young in this. And so it chronologically doesn't make any fucking sense. And I think the picture is misleading because it implies that you're going to see a Green Lantern Corps comprised of this group.
Right.
And that's not what I think the show is going to be. I'm pretty positive. Now, this is just old Dirk spitballing here. But I'm pretty sure what you're going to see here. And I'm willing to put it down. I'm willing to mark it down as my bet. That you're going to see what we would call like I've heard tell that Tomar Ray is going to be in the show. Tomar Ray and Salak are both the scribes of the Green Lantern. They maintain the Book of Oa, which is basically like the Hall of Heroes book of all of the Green Lanterns who have come and gone prior and afterwards. It's like their Mason book, basically. Tells all the accolades of all the world, the finest Green Lanterns that have ever existed and all of the stories, et cetera, et cetera. And so what I think we're going to see is like a Tales of the Green Lantern Corps TV show where it's like episode 1, this was Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner was one of our most esteemed members of the League. He was a Justice League member. He saved the world on more than one occasion. He was best friends with Hal Jordan, whom we don't speak of anymore. He's, and then they're going to go into like some anecdote about one of his cooler stories, probably about how he opened Warrior's Tavern and also was his own standalone superhero warrior. And then they'll do that episodically. They'll tell a story because we've also heard that Kilowog is going to be in this. So it's like, I think if I were a Tibetan man, I would say what you're going to have is there's the book of Oa right there. Yeah. What you're going to have is some sort of chronicle of the Green Lanterns so that they can weave in other characters without having to give them standalone properties. And then kind of backdoor other testing out, like seeing how invested people are in seeing stories about second string characters. Because I mean, really, like
that's kind of what they're doing though. They're running out of everything, so that's like
and don't get me wrong, like there's a lot of lore here. There's a shit ton of stuff to talk about. I mean, and when you look at the scope of the DC universe, Green Lantern has got his finger in that pie since the jump.
Yeah,
and when you go to like Crisis of Infinite Earths and Blackest Night and a lot of big DC titles, Green Lantern is a real, like, right in the fucking dead center of it.
And has a huge audience. It's ridiculous for them not to be doing something with that,
Yeah, it's weird being a Green Lantern fan these days because when I was a kid, like I said, he was the nobody character. He was the one that, like, people were like, you like Green Lantern? That's your guy?
I thought that was Aquaman.
I feel like Aquaman got more of a pass than Green Lantern.
I always thought he was lame. I was like,
I mean, he is lame, but he's definitely got more star power than Green Lantern. I felt like it was like even though like even Flash was kind of a B Squad guy when I was a kid, people were like, the Flash? And you were like, and then you start talking about Flash villains, and they're like, who's Captain Cold?
Yeah.
Who's Pied Piper? Who's Heat Wave? And you're like, never mind. You don't read comics. You just like Batman. Like that's different. Those are different things.
I just like Lex Luthor.
I love Lex Luthor. He's fucking great. He's a great villain, and he's really strangely not even a villain. Because if you thought about it, like if you told me right now there was a superhero, Lex Luthor and Batman from the Batman versus Superman movie are actually very close. Because Batman's attitude towards Superman is basically Lex Luthor's whole life.
Yeah.
Where he's like, dude, this is an alien from another fucking planet with laser eyes.
He's a threat.
What the fuck are you guys thinking? I'm the smartest dude in the world, and I can only see this as a negative possibility. There is no net benefit for us if to have an alien with invincible laser powers and all kinds of other shit we've never heard of, and a whole fuck ton of cousins and stuff just falling out of the sky.
Yeah, flying dogs. That's not okay.
Bad. And if he changes his mind, yes, I get it. He's this nice, big, benevolent, fucking truth, justice, and the American way guy. But if he ever changes his fucking mind, we're doomed. He can cut the planet in half with his ass if he wants to. We got to do something about this.
I've watched a trailer for I guess it's probably a new video game that's coming out where it was like Lois had been killed and Superman.
Oh, that's Injustice. It's not new.
Okay, yeah. I watched it today, and like Superman was not playing games.
No,
he pretty much
Joker tricks Superman into killing Lois himself.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he hits him with some gas, and he makes Superman think that Lois is the Joker, and so he fucking he punches right through him, and then when the gas wears off, he realizes he killed Lois. And then he goes insane and becomes totalitarian Superman.
Yeah. It was.
And it's funny because Superman is an allegory for America. Where it's like, if we ever take the kids' gloves off, if we ever stop fucking playing games and pussyfooting around, we can destroy everything if we want to. We're the most powerful force on the planet. And yes, it's nice. We're nice. We're big, nice, big, smiley, red, white, and blue. Yeah. But if that ever stopped and we became what if we got mad about something.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
You could wreck
And
shop.
so you look at the rest of the world when they see us like that, and it's like, I get it. I fucking get it. Because we're basically sitting on Superman. There's a great story, too. Superman.
Speaking of which, you hear the F-bomb?
Which F-bomb? Trump?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If they fuck around with
I
us.
heard he was on a
Oh, yeah. He was on
radio.
He was on Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
And he straight up just accidentally said, Iran's been put on notice, and if they fuck around with us, they're going to find out. And it's just like, oh
shit.
damn.
Ooh, wow.
Okay. Well, that's something.
Well, in other news, I heard that there's talk about doing Black Panther
RIP.
2. Yeah. It's CGI, like doing that to
Yeah, kind of
make
doing the Princess Leia thing.
Yeah, and like they didn't even
Yeah.
nobody knew he had cancer, and nobody
No.
knew he was sick, and
I feel like you would have to tell.
you don't.
If you sign up for like a 9-movie franchise, you don't have to tell them you got a terminally ill
You
disease.
don't. I watched a bunch of
Okay.
stuff about it. Pretty much when you're Disney, you don't have the same insurance things and all that because you have plenty of money to make the movies. You
Sure.
know.
That makes sense.
So yeah,
I'm not knocking him for it.
they don't have to get bonded
it's
and
his
stuff.
business, but
yeah,
I mean,
but they pretty much the director of Black Panther had no idea. Nobody, They didn't know. And
yeah, I
so-
remember they were yelling at him, or not yelling at him, but people online were like, "He's so skinny," and it was like, "Oh, that makes sense now," because he was dying of fucking cancer. The CGI thing in Marvel, I think it can work. It can be really easy. You do like a hologram statue of him in Wakanda, like a construct, and maybe even says like "Welcome to Wakanda," something like that, like where it's like an homage, kind of like the Harold Ramis statue in the Ghostbusters remake, but then like 3-dimensional and.
Well,
and
I'm wondering if they
hologram.
just need to explain why he's not going to be in most of Black Panther 2. Like, how do we make Black Panther 2 without the Black Panther? You know what I mean? You're going to pass the torch.
You say he died of cancer. You say he got vibranium poisoning
or
and
something.
it gave him cancer. I mean, like if you were really looking to like weave the lore into the story, I mean, that would be because that's what kills Logan.
Vibranium poisoning?
Yeah. It's the it's the
adamantium.
Yeah, and adamantium and vibranium are very similar.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's slowly leaking poison into his body and killing him.
And he's able to heal.
But he eventually gets so old that he doesn't heal the way he used
Yeah.
to, and it starts to overtake him. And that's why, like in the end, like
But
when you watch the movie Logan,
Yeah.
that's what he's dying from.
That would be a really good. Like, and
Yeah.
Black Panther doesn't have healing properties like
exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, you used the suit too much, and we didn't know this,
Yeah.
and now you're.
That's an
and now
interesting
he's gone.
twist.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But what do I know? Yeah, that's what's killing Wolverine. Adamantium poisoning, which is ironic because it's how he gets. It's what his powers kind of
Yeah.
like what he's famous for is adamantium blades, and that's what's slowly causing like a radiation poisoning basically into his like bone marrow.
Craziness.
Yeah. So it's really excruciatingly painful too. So he's like by the end of it, he's like in a lot of pain and he's just sucking on it all the time. But he can't die. Like he can, but it's gonna take way longer.
It's gonna take forever.
Yeah,
You're just gonna suffer forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like kind of the poignant twist of Logan is it's like because he's always kind of been that
Yeah.
kind of Highlander. Like who wants to live forever? Like the twist of like is immortality cool? No. It sucks. You watch all your friends die. You live forever. Everything sucks. You have to start over like a million times.
Yeah.
And like your only real trick is to be an antique dealer, which was like such a fucking flex by the Highlander to be an antique dealer. Like what a fucking cover that is. Yeah, there's a lot of tasteful ways to do this. I can think of about 10 tasteful ways to do this. But if you really want to pull the gloves off and just make the fucking fans really feel it, you just say that he died of cancer because that's really what happened to him. And you just make his story and say, yeah, we didn't know about we thought we were geniuses. We thought we had all the technology licked and we didn't.
Yeah.
And we were wrong about this and now he's gone. And we have to be more careful in the future.
I think that's way more tasteful than having a CGI thing like and having to do a deep fakes thing where you have to take a whole bunch, either get an impersonator or take a bunch of lines that he's already said. And
right.
That's
do
just
the
weird.
chef from South Park. Hey kids, I want to make love.
Yeah, that's just kind of weird. So but at the same time, it takes you out of the story. if they come on with some crazy story, you're like, instead of just being immersed in that world, you're like, oh, they had to do this because
he
of
got
this,
cancer.
This, yeah,
But
but
the rebuttal for that is, if the thing was that he actually just died of cancer, then you don't do that. You don't lose the immersion.
that's brilliant.
And it tracks because Wakanda has been unregulated by any kind of like scientific research facility, like any scientific boards.
Yeah.
They're not like beholden to the FDA or anything like that. So it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility for them to say, look, we thought this was safe, and it wasn't.
And I wonder if by that point Scarlet Witch will have already brought in mutants, and Storm will be in it, because that you bring in some more star
you
power.
really bring a parlay into bringing the X-Men in too, because she becomes Queen of Wakanda.
Yeah.
He does die in the comics.
Yeah.
And she becomes Queen of Wakanda. And so it tracks, but
Yeah.
it's just you're gonna have to like tap dance around it as far as the PC culture is concerned, because like you have to treat this with kids' gloves because he fucking died of cancer, which is like, I get it, I understand, but there's still a story to tell. There's still, there's still other, the show must go on.
Yeah.
So I think that they'll find a tasteful, respectful way to do it. But like I said, if you really want to hit someone in the feels, just tell the truth. Do it.
Yeah, that is an interesting.
Imagine you're sitting in the theater and they're like, he fucking died of cancer. Like Captain America walks in and he's like, where's T'Challa at? And then his sister's like, we got to tell you something about that.
On the flip side, is that exploiting? No, I think they could do it with the.
Yeah, we have to explain why he's gone.
Yeah,
we have to. It has to be addressed. And
it's crazy.
It's also awareness.
Yeah. Oh, that's true
it's
too.
Cancer awareness.
That's
Like
true. He's such a.
I don't know if you could say he
what-
had ass cancer, because I think that's what it was. He had colon cancer. So it's like probably not specify exactly what type of cancer it was, because that's not a very sexy type of cancer. But
Yeah.
But I think if they said like his exposure to the vibranium created some problems, and by the time we found it, it was too late, and he died. He's dead. He's gone. And then then you have that moment of everybody like, like,
yeah, what?
We weren't gone that long. And then it's like, these things are fast,
Yeah.
Stuff moves fast. Like, it's there. You can feel it. Like, I can feel the gravity.
Yeah.
Just from talking about it. But I think that's
that's crazy, because we talked about talking about this, but we never even took it this far in our conversation.
I'm good at this.
Yeah.
Really good at talking about sad shit. Also about comics, I can wing anything. But that's what I would do. Because like I said, it brings awareness to it. You're not lying to the audience. You're not breaking the immersion. You're paying respect to him.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Then you can get away with the CGI thing. Not him CGIing. Maybe if it's like a message, like he recorded a message before he went, and he's like, "Hey guys, I want you to know this. It was my honor. It was like everything I ever fucking wanted. Like we've gone so, we did all the stuff. We came so far. We saved the world, and we lost Tony, and we thought that was the end of it, and it's not. I gotta go too.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say that like working with you guys was the biggest fucking honor, and like being an Avenger was this." And then he gives you one of these at the end, Wakanda forever, and then fades into dust, and boom, cut to black.
Academy Award.
Bam.
Boom.
Posthumous Academy Award. Chadwick Boseman, easy money.
And that stuff hits you in the feels too.
That's what I'm saying.
Because like even just like the other day when we were talking about that Batman, you kept calling it Arkham, but it was Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
Yes. The just the commercial for that, the little trailer for that. When Batman
gives that
his
message,
he's like,
you guys got to keep going.
You guys got to keep going. You got to protect Gotham. All this stuff. He's like, I'm just sending you this message to say goodbye.
Yeah.
I got like a lump in my throat from a Batman
video game trailer.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
We've all grown up with these characters, and we feel an attachment to them. And I think
I make myself cry like 7 times a day with just like made up experiences in my brain about comic books. So don't even trip, dog. I literally will cry in the shower all the time about like stupid comic book shit that I'm like, wow, what if this happened? And then I'm like, fuck, that can't happen. I can't deal. What else we got? Is that it?
That's it, man.
Wow,
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
We're like an hour 5.
What are we? We're an hour 5.
Wow,
man,
fucking called it.
We're good.
We're getting this down to a fucking science, aren't we?
Well, gang.
R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe.
Make sure you guys do it. Don't be a fucking chooch.
Yes.
My buddy used to have a shirt that said "Don't be a chooch," and I never knew what it meant, but I've always thought it was a great insult. Because, like, if you say you're being a chooch, they just know that it's bad.
It doesn't sound
It could
good.
be anything. So yeah, follow us on Instagram,
What a chooch.
Facebook. I think Facebook's the real ticket.
Facebook's
That's where you can watch all our clips, see all our little. If you're listening to the show, you can watch the video and see all the cool graphics that Clint put so much fucking work into. And
thanks,
I do
man.
nothing.
Well, also hit our Instagram, our IGTV.
Now that I think about
throw
it,
stuff-
I'm really the audio. You're the visual component. Like, we really foil each other well. If you're only listening to the show, I'm very entertaining. But if you're watching it, it's all you.
I
This
look
is-
great.
this is
That's
all
what he's
you.
trying to
Yeah,
say.
Yeah, you did this. All right, well, we did it.
Yeah, we'll check out our stuff. Like we said,
Check us out.
Instagram,
We'll
Facebook,
be back
YouTube,
next week,
all the stuff.
Tuesday.
If
Roll
you-
that beautiful bean footage
If you don't want to look at us, also remember you can listen to our podcast
on Spotify.
No, not Tidal.
No, don't even think about it.
Spotify and
Apple Music.
Apple Podcast. So, all right. Well, I think we've plugged ourselves. That sounds weird.
I don't think we plugged ourselves
I
enough.
think-
We need more plugging. We need
Yes.
more plugs.
Well, cool. We're gonna go plug ourselves.
I'm gonna go
and-
plug myself.
Yes. So, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thanks, guys.